Okay, guys, so this is my third stream already. According to YouTube, my second stream was stopped. So the first stream was stopped because apparently the whole screen was black, so I kind of had to redo the whole thing. But then what happened later is that apparently apparently my second stream was cut because basically there was a policy violation, so they cut my stream. So I'm just going to do it without any clips, without any video stuff, because I guess whatever. But I saw the movie a couple hours ago, and as I mentioned earlier in the two streams that I had, that I'm drinking my cherry soda with vodka, still enjoying it. And I mentioned before in my previous streams before they were cut that the Barbie film is basically just this combination of old regurgitated feminist arguments. So all the old feminist arguments that were used before in the past, right? They're just being reused in this movie. So like a lot of the arguments were debunked from 2015 till 2023. Like all these dumb feminist arguments, they were always debunked by whatever bloggers, you name them, right? All these online celebrities from the center left, center right, to the moderate right, to the far right. Like basically, many people would just debunk feminism and all their dumb arguments. This movie just kind of combines all these outdated feminist arguments and just kind of puts them on screen. And so let me check if I'm still rolling right here, because yeah, YouTube could be weird sometimes. Okay, am I still live? Okay, it looks like I'm live. Okay, yeah, so I'm working. Okay, so I guess that's what we got to deal with. So let me see if I could. Yeah. So that's what I was using, but apparently that's like a violation, policy violation for YouTube policymakers. So I'll just kind of not make it too boring. I'll just kind of like right here. So let's kind of have this Barbie background stuff right here. Like I hope YouTube does not censor this. Hope they won't censor their own YouTube page, right? Oh look, there's me, live right now. And Ben Shapiro did his own commentary. I mean, surprisingly, like as much as I very, very dislike Shapiro, surprisingly had a pretty good review himself. He actually saw the movie in theaters, but luckily, so I saw like the it's, how do I say it? Like basically, I did not pay for the movie. Let's say this: I did not watch it in theaters, right? And I watched it in Russian, and the message was obviously pretty much obviously it's the same, but yeah. So like in the beginning of the movie, they show like the Barbie, like basically girls are playing with dolls, these baby dolls. Yeah, so like basically it says someone's saying yeah, Dark Calhoun says it got taken down because YouTube bots saw footage. Yep, YouTube bots are literally just dumb. I hate YouTube bots. Okay, I wonder if I would. Okay, what happens if I do this? Okay. So yeah, going back to the beginning of the movie. So in the film, oh look, I'm like kind of like looking over my live screen right now, and it's pretty awesome. So yeah, the YouTube. So the beginning of the movie, like I'm already getting drunk just like talk to you guys. No, but in the beginning of the movie, they show these girls playing with baby dolls, and so like the narrator's saying like girls, that's all they did was play with baby dolls, and the only games they could role play as is basically baby as mothers. So they just pretend to be moms, but like, and that's all they could do, right? And then Barbie appears, and the girls start smashing the baby dolls, and that's kind of symbolic because they're trying to say, yes, like now we're free from doing these motherly roles. Like we don't have to role play as moms anymore. We could just be like this free, independent Barbie. And so, like, of course, Barbie's skinny. She got this like hourglass body figure, and like, because like she's not a mom, and so yeah, Ken, and basically it's a matriarchy, and the Kens really like they're basically like male bimbos, right? So like the Kens are supposed to be male bimbos. So we have like in our world, in our so-called patriarchal reality, we have female bimbos. Females are basically like hot women. Like women are just dumb bimbos, right? And so women who are kind of like moderately attractive or kind of like just mid, like they're smarts. They're not bimbos. They're independent, right? And they don't feel pretty. Like Barbie is like basically make them not feel so pretty, right? And so in Barbie Land, so yeah, Barbie Land, they have the real world, and so Barbie Land is where like there's this matriarchy where women control everything. Women are construction workers, right? And in the movie, like they show like how they're the construction workers, but they're not really doing anything. They're just kind of pretending to be construction workers, right? But because it's Barbie Land, they have like magical powers apparently, or everything just kind of works out fine, right? And the men are not really doing anything. Men are just like surfers on the beach, right? Like they don't do much, and they're just getting candy. They're getting ice creams. Now, if I remember correctly, as a child, I remember Barbie commercials as a kid in the 90s, and I believe Kens were not like dumb bimbos. Like they were not male bimbos. They were still masculine, right? Like they were portrayed as guys who, like, for example, if they would like I'm remembering like outdoor Barbie stuff, right? So they're showing like these Barbie dolls that came with an RV sets, and they have Ken, and Ken basically like he's on the grill grilling some food. Basically, your typical male role, right? You're out with your family, with your woman in the woods, and what do you do at the campsite? Well, you're cooking the food, you're grilling the burgers, the hot dogs, you're doing all this barbecue stuff, and so like that's not bimbo behavior. That's not male bimbo behavior. That's just normal manly behavior right there, right? And so, but in this movie, in Barbie Land, according to this movie, and unfortunately, Mattel, the company, approved this. It's really, really unfortunate. Like men are just dumb bimbos. They're just male bimbos. They don't do anything useful. Like only the women are in charge. The women are empowered. They have a black female president. Right. I'm just gonna look at the comments real quick. Right. No new comments at the moment. Yeah. So they have a black female president. The journalist asked her, trying to figure out. I'm trying to remember what she asked her. She asked her something. What do you think of the other Barbies? And I think she says something. Oh, you guys are all awesome. You guys are awesome. It's just awesome. Ha ha ha. And she's being all bubbly and giggly. It's just so amazing. Ooh. And then Barbie, this one Barbie is making an announcement saying, "Oh, and the award for best journalist of the year goes to Barbie," because all the women are called Barbie, all the men are called Ken. But yeah, and so this Barbie shows up, says, "Oh, I'm so I'm grateful that I got this award. I deserved it." Or I think maybe in the original she probably said, "I earned it." Like basically emphasizing that women just deserve awards, right? Like women deserve this. Okay, well, but are you really a good journalist though? Okay, like do you really deserve this honor? But like you cannot question that. You cannot question if a woman deserves honor or not. So Um, so so women are in power. Women are getting awards. Then this one woman is Fat Barbie. Fat Barbie is giving a speech about how corporations should not have any rights, because if we give them like rights, it's a violation of our. She's talking about freedom of speech, so she's saying corporations do not get freedom of speech. Okay, because if corporations get freedom of speech, it's a violation of our democracy, and it will turn it into a plutocracy. This is what the Fat Barbie is saying. Look, I'm against major corporations having too much power. I'm against plutocracy myself. On top of that, I'm simultaneously against democracy too. So, like, take that, Barbie. But basically, like, she's saying this is a threat to our democracy. I'm thinking, like, that's not how like plutocracy works. Okay, basically what they're implying is that corporations, like, they have to be careful what they say, right? So the whole like Aunt Jemima controversy, right? Like basically, oh, Aunt Jemima on the packaging. Oh no, that's RACIST, right? Like, no, you can't have Aunt Jemima on there. Like that's Ray, that's the R word, right? Yeah, like I'm trying to be careful not to get blocked by YouTube, because this is literally my third time streaming, like third time in a row streaming, because like of technical issues. Like, the second issue was a violation, so definitely don't want to risk any violations at the moment. But yeah, so Fat Barbie said that if we give corporations freedom of speech, therefore that becomes a plutocracy. Like plutocracy is bad, and by the way, we already live in a plutocracy, so. Like, but still, like, that's not how plutocracy works, too, right? Anyone has anyone got freedom of speech, okay? Like, especially corporations. As long as the corporation does not like call for violence, call for whatever. But again, what's interesting is that when conservatives try to take away the free speech of Bud Light. Of course, nobody was taking away the free speech of Bud Light. It's just that conservatives were against Bud Light's promotion of Mr. Mulvaney, and so of course, the liberals immediately said, "Oh, conservatives are all fragile creatures, right? Blah 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 blah, right?" But then it's like, wait a minute, but who got rid of Aunt Jemima? Who got rid of Sacagawea on Lando? Is it Lando Lakes? Yes. So yeah, so basically like don't give this crap about like conservatives being angry about Mr. Mulvaney on Bud Light, but then like you're against corporations promoting Native American culture. You're against corporations promoting African American culture on food, because that's apparently the R word, right? But anyways, so then the Fat Barbie then continues saying that she also uses a combination of logic and emotions, and she's able to control them. And I forgot the rest of I don't know the exact lines, but she did say she uses a combination of logic and emotions, and I guess it's implying that feminists are tired of hearing that they're not logical, that they are emotional creatures. And so they're trying to say, yeah, I could prove that I am both logical and emotional. Okay, well, no one ever said no one ever said that all women are illogical. There are some women who are very logical, but on average, a lot of women are more emotion based than logic based, right? On average, men are more logic based than emotion based. That doesn't mean men don't have emotions. Right, men have emotions. Men are emotional too, but we just on average, we just kind of portray them differently, right? We express them differently. But we just are also kind of more we're more analytical too, right? Sometimes we do try to think before we speak, right? We don't kind of spur of the moment. You know what? Let's just act. Okay, well, hold on. Before you act, you gotta look at the consequences, right? And so, anyways, but Fat Barbie was emphasizing, yeah, I could use my emotions and logic and still be correct, something like that. It was like the rest of the phrasing was something weird like that. Okay, and then ooh, like I can't believe I remember this movie too. I mean, of course, I've seen it a few hours ago, but still, oh yeah, like the Kens are the male bimbos. They don't really do anything important. Do you guys see? Okay, yeah. Don't know if my screen appears on this screen. Interesting. Yeah. Well, look at these people talking about Barbie. An assault on not just Ken but all men. Piers Morgan slams Barbie. Yeah. So the movie is an assault on men, basically. Yeah, and surprisingly, like I was very like as much as I dislike Ben Shapiro, he actually had a interesting take on Barbie last night. Apparently, this new video. It says Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper debate for 30 minutes. So apparently, Brett Cooper liked Barbie, but again, Brett Cooper is I'm not trying to be mean here, but Brett Cooper is just like a dumb 19-year-old girl. So, yeah, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying like she's still like not as like she's pretty bright for a girl her age, but like I've seen people who are smarter and brighter than she is at that age too, and so yeah, but like so that kind of I guess kind of makes sense why she thought Barbie was cool. But then again, I'm thinking like but then again at the same time it doesn't make sense because I thought she supports some kind of conservative values, right? But yeah. But moving on, so Barbie basically just feels something's wrong with her. She's no longer walking on her tippy toes, and so she gets like flat feet. Apparently, she's walking like normal humans walk. So she consults Strange Barbie. Strange Barbie is this ugly-looking Barbie, and so apparently, you know, if a girl or if a girl messes up like her Barbie doll, right? Apparently, it affects Barbie in Barbie Land. And so, what I don't get is how come like all the other Barbies are kind of fine? Why does it kind of because do you know how many girls like destroy Barbie dolls? And actually, or maybe, or why does it have to be girls? Like maybe their brothers like would grab it and destroy the dolls too, right? But there'll be a lot of dolls that are just kind of like getting ruined, and a lot of them will become strange. But apparently, only one Barbie doll is strange, and so let me adjust this. So apparently, she's like this secret, like wise sage, and so Barbie goes to her for consultation. She tells her, "Hey, you got to go to the real world to find the girl who's been like kind of messing you up, and plus you're feeling emotional. Oh, well, not emotional. She's feeling depressed, very sad, very lonely. So she needs to go to the real world and figure out, you know, what's going on. Why is the girl, whoever is playing with her, is kind of messing her up." And of course she leaves, and then Ken tags along, and Barbie doesn't want Ken to go with her, but then she kind of like takes him. I forgot what he does. He convinces her somehow, and they enter the real world. And what's interesting is that they enter the real world, and immediately they're riding rollerblades, and Barbie's kind of just like not like exactly a bikini, but something like that. And so, and this is Los Angeles. They appear in Los Angeles. Think about this. L.A., Los Angeles. Like they're not in some kind of, backwater town with some hillbillies and rednecks, right? So this is Los Angeles, right? Super liberal city. Now, now, if it was shot in San Francisco, I'll totally be like, okay, you guys make no sense at all, right? Okay, but this is still Los Angeles. It's California, right? On the beach, okay? And so Barbie and Ken, they're both rollerblading, and for some reason, people are giving them both attention, right? And and like one of the dudes like tells Ken, "Cool, yeah, right." Just kind of who does that? Like, okay, some guy's rollerblading with his girlfriend, okay, right? Oh, by the way, like she's not really his, like, so she's supposed to be his girlfriend, right? But Barbie just kind of doesn't act like that, like she's his boy, like she's his girlfriend. She doesn't act that way, right? So she's friend zoning him. So like so she knows that he is like her Ken. So every Barbie has a Ken, right? And so he is her Ken, but she does not treat him as her Ken. Like she kind of just like, like she's nice to him. That's all it is. She's just nice to him while he's being friend zoned the entire time, right? And so, anyways, they're going through, like they're rollerblading, on the beach right there, and then some dudes are just looking at her and saying, "Oh, smile for us, Blondie." Okay, like imagine this, like some girl is just rollerblading, right, and every single dude on the beach just turns around, is like, oh, drooling over her. Like seriously, like whoever wrote this movie, like they think this is reality. Like do they really think this is reality? Or like, I don't know, like maybe I think they think that's reality, but shoot, like nobody does that. Like almost no one does that. Like okay, like there will be maybe one guy who'd be like, oh wow, I'm drooling, simping right here, right? But seriously, like like no one's gonna be so like, well, 99% of the time, I will not say nobody, but I'll say 99% of the time, 99% of the time, dudes are not going to be, hey, smile, Blondie. Seriously, it's just so weird. Like no one does that. Almost no one does that, okay? 99% of the time, no one does that, okay? There will be that 1% creepy population, okay? Well, if we want to get into further details, there is a certain demographic that's kind of where things like that happens more often, but I will not say that because that's not the topic of discussion at the moment. But they keep going, they keep skating like on the rollerblades, and what else happens? Oh yeah, so Barbie says, "Oh, I feel shyness. I feel like kind of unusual." Ken says, "Well, I feel this like I feel like I don't feel any danger at all," implying that like it's a safe world for us dudes and it's completely dangerous for women. Well, what's interesting, L.A. like it depends. Like I guess yes, like on that particular beach, fine, okay, yeah, you're pretty safe as a woman. But I would say, like, if you're somewhere else in other parts of LA, then yes, as a woman, you should definitely be in danger. feel in danger. I don't want you to be in danger, but you should definitely feel in danger, right? Or if you're in San Francisco, actually, I don't think anyone's safe in San Francisco anymore, right? Or any other like major liberal city. But that's not the point. But still, in the West, women are a lot safer than, let's say, in certain Middle Eastern countries, right? But of course, feminists are conflating everything, right? Actually, with feminists, if it's going on in the Middle East, oh, that's just a cultural thing, that's their culture. But here in the West, oh, like we don't have enough rights. We need more rights, right? Like it just like basically, oh, I'm in danger because I don't have so many extra rights. Like this is all patriarchal. This is all patriarchy right here, right? And so, and of course, like apparently men, like would just kind of say "smile, Blondie" so randomly to a stranger. Come on, get out of here. You don't live in reality if you believe that. But they go further down and they talk to a construction crew, and immediately, like the construction crew, they stop working and they just look at her and they start like telling her weird stuff. One of the guys says, "Hey, baby, maybe we should start committing some sins." Well, like, but then again, that might not be the original line. And I did watch the movie in the Russian language, and so like maybe the translation was not 100% accurate. So, like in the Russian translation, like one of the guys tells her, "Hey, maybe we should commit some sins." I don't know. I don't know if the original lines were like that, but so Barbie tells him, "Hey, I think I think there's some kind of hidden meaning behind your words, but I can't like really understand. But I just want you guys to know, I have no vagina, and Ken has no penis, and we both don't have genitalia. It's just okay, random." So she had a feeling that like these men were saying something sexual, but like she cannot really explain it. But she just said, "Oh, I have a vagina, and no, I don't have a vagina, and Ken has no penis." Okay. Okay, like we don't have genitals. And what's interesting is that when she says we don't have any genitalia at all, the construction workers just immediately go, "Oh, well, okay, well we're not judging, just the construction workers are thinking, oh, okay, these are some kind of transformers, both of these people. Okay, we're not gonna. Okay, cool, that's okay. We're okay with this. It's 2023." But still, like her comment was just so random. Okay, like and why would construction workers, like all of them, just stop working and just look at her and just start saying, "Oh yeah, let's have a good time, baby, woohoo, yeah." Like we're totally going to verbally harass you because we just feel like it because we're construction workers. Oh yeah, by the way, that's how that's how Hollywood feels about the working class. By the way. Okay, and so I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to like remember like what else happened in the movie, like because the movie just is super absurd. There I am right here, the Barbie review. Yeah, like see, I created the POV. You think Barbie is good? Yeah, like where I'm like about to punch you in the face. That's for people who think Barbie was a good movie. Yeah, if you think Barbie was a good movie, well, if you say it in front of me, well, that's your POV right there. Boom. Yeah, so, okay, so, so Barbie she kind of has to start, what happens, this is very interesting. So Barbie and Ken, they go past the construction guys, and they're talking, and then some dude just randomly walks up to Barbie and just slaps her on the butt, right? And of course it's a white looking dude. He just walks up, slaps her on the butt for no reason at all. Naturally, like any like a person would do, like Barbie, she actually punches the guy in the face, right? Of course, what's not natural, what does not make sense, is basically the guy falling down, like because Margot Robbie, look at her physically, and that dude himself was not a bodybuilder, but still, like I doubt he would just fall down like that. Like, but it was supposed to be marketed as a comedy, so I get it. Okay, punch the guy in the face, falls down. Okay, ha ha, funny. But anyway, so the guy just for no reason, walks up, slaps her on the butt. So she punches the guy in the face, and what happens? The cops arrest her and Ken. Literally. So, like, Ken and Barbie, like, they don't do anything wrong, right? Like, basically, Barbie was defending herself. And for some reason, the patriarchy is in favor of men. And so Barbie was apparently not supposed to punch the guy in the face. This is Los Angeles, guys. Guys, this is Los Angeles. Like, of all places, like where something like this would happen, the cops would definitely not arrest Barbie. Now, it doesn't matter where you live, though. It doesn't matter what city you're in, what state you're in. It doesn't matter. If a dude in public walks up to a woman, to any woman, slaps her on the butt, and then she has time to punch him in the face, the cops are not going to arrest her. She would not be charged with anything. Like, she would literally be just let go. Like, seriously, like, the cops arresting her because they fingerprint her and they fingerprint Ken, which kind of makes no sense because aren't they from Barbie Land? They're not human beings. They're just living dolls. So where did they get fingerprints from? How are they being fingerprinted? So like, and Ken, what did he do? Like, he did not punch the guy. He did not do anything, right? So why is he being arrested? But he's arrested with Barbie for some reason. So, and while they're being fingerprinted, the cops they start verbally harassing Barbie. They start talking about her bikini, and so I'm assuming that's what the original said, because I watched the movie in the Russian language, so I don't know what the original English version was, but like in the Russian translation, the cops were talking about her bikini, right? And so. And so, like, I just thought it's kind of weird. I'm thinking, like, really, for that? Like no one would do that. Like, the cops literally, seriously, in a domestic dispute, if there's domestic violence, most of the time, majority of the time, cops will either like side with the woman, like they'll like basically stand up for the woman and treat the guy like an a-hole, despite the fact that the guy probably didn't do anything wrong. He probably never hurt her. He probably raised his voice at her, and that's probably as far as it went. Like, or maybe the dude will, like, I don't know, maybe he'll like punch a wall or something, but he would not hit her. Like, he would not hurt her. He would probably just be super angry at the nagging, and like he just raise his voice. Like, let's say he doesn't even punch the wall. He just raises his voice very loudly. And so in retaliation, the woman will call the cops, and then like basically have this whole sob story. The cops won't even take the time to kind of just to actually hear out the guy, like, or even if they do hear the guy out, they'll probably like treat him like dirt and assume that he is doing something wrong, which is kind of weird, because you would assume that like patriarchal cops would actually be siding with the dude, but for some reason these patriarchal cops are always siding with women. Right? Not like, well, okay, I don't want to use the word always, but most of the time, cops are usually siding with the women. But where was I going with this? Or if a man's being abused, right? Let's say the man like basically is physically abused by his wife, and he calls the cops. Cops show up, they'll not take him seriously at all. They'll be like, whatever, dude, you're such a loser. Yeah, like, dude, like, men are not, like, the police are not on your side if you're a dude in a domestic dispute, literally. Now, sometimes, cops can be reasonable, and they'll try to, like, offer a solution. Like, they won't take a side, right? Okay, you're trying to be objective, because you're not there, you don't know, right? So, like, anything, like self. Plus, some women, they're capable of kind of doing self-inflicting wounds. Like, some women have like sensitive skin, like basically like a couple taps on the skin, like not like really hard punches, kind of like a couple taps like on the leg with their own fist, and they could have like blue marks right there, and so they could say, oh, look, he hit me. Look at the evidence, right? But believe me, like stuff like that could happen. Right, and stuff like that does happen. So, yeah. So, but like for some reason, like in the movie, a dude walks up to a woman, slaps her in the butt. This is Barbie. So he slaps Barbie in the butt, and she punches him, and the cops arrest Barbie. Really? Come on. Like, that's not reality. Like, this does not happen in our world. 99.9% of the time, the cops would literally not arrest Barbie for basically defending herself against an actual physical abuser, right? He like just, and he's a stranger too. Like, he just, total stranger, walks up, slaps her in the butt. Yeah, this guy deserves to be arrested. And Barbie, like, she was innocent. So, like, the movie is trying to tell us that the system is so against women, right? Because Barbie probably was not supposed to like punch back. On top of that, this is Los Angeles, right? So like, are the creators of the film like basically crapping on their own city? Like their own city is, it's basically one of the most liberal cities in America, and they're crapping on their own city? Are you serious? Like, it would have made sense, at least, I don't know, to probably show Phoenix, maybe. right? But Los Angeles, really, of all cities, Los Angeles, really, you once portray Los Angeles like this. The cops are also like the cops themselves are basically woke, their police department is basically infected with wokeism right now. But in 2023, a Barbie who was defending herself from legitimately defending herself from a stranger who hit her on the butt. Seriously, come on, like the woke Los Angeles Police Department definitely would let it slide, especially when obviously the dude was at fault, right? So then after the cops verbally harass Barbie, Barbie tells Ken, hey, we need to kind of change our clothing, okay? Because apparently you're not supposed to be walking around in a bikini, because apparently every single dude, especially white dudes, right, apparently are going to be harassing you. So they walk in some little store on the beach. Ken is dressed like a cowboy. Barbie is dressed like a cowgirl, pink clothing, white hats, right? And so they both say, yeah, we look good, and then they keep walking. Then the store owner or manager walks out and says, hey guys, you do realize you're supposed to pay for these clothes, right? And so Barbie and Ken, what do? They just start running. And the manager, owner, wherever he is, he starts chasing them down. And then, of course, the cops arrest them again, and they're being fingerprinted. And I'm thinking, okay, why not? What they should have done, they should have cut out the man slapping Barbie on the butt scene, and they should just went straight into hey, let's kind of get some new clothes or something. They should just cut all that out, and they should just went to them changing clothes, and then running away, and then for being arrested for a legitimate reason. And then I forgot what happens, but I think the cops continue to sexually harass her Barbie again, and again they're fingerprinting them again. I'm thinking, wait a minute, but how? They're dolls. They're not real people. Where are the fingerprints coming from? It makes no sense. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna do a brief pause. Gotta send something. Okay, I got it sent. So, anyways, Barbie, she kind of trying to she finds a quiet place. She's trying to reconnect with the girl who screwed her up, right? Because earlier when I mentioned that Barbie has flat feet and she's no longer walking on her tippy toes, and she's feeling depression, sadness, so she's trying to reconnect with the girl who basically is sad, who's ruining her, right? And so she tells Ken, can you leave me alone for a bit? So Ken says, oh, can I go that way, right? And she says, fine, right? Go, right? And then she says, but don't go too far. And Ken goes, fine, right? Like a child. So it's showing that women are all motherly, women are all basically good, and men are just immature children. And so Barbie's meditating, and then Ken, he is walking around, and he sees two dudes wearing basically muscle man shirts, and they're clearly walking out of a gym. And so these two dudes, they fist bump each other, and the camera zooms in on the fist bump, and Ken's like, ooh, nice, ooh, yeah. And already they're trying to imply that fist bumps, you going like this with your buddy, doing a fist bump, oh, that's something, toxic masculinity right there. It's so toxic, just fist bumping so bad. And then they show inside of the gym, and they're showing one guy's boxing, one guy's lifting weights, just basic gym stuff. And Ken's oh, wow, yeah, shaking his head he's liking this. this patriarchy, this toxic masculinity. And then he's walking around, and it's all in this business area, this business center, wherever he is. And he walks into this business center, and they're showing three executives. Well, I'm assuming they're executives, but they're wearing suits, business guys. They're talking to each other, and then this woman who's clearly like a secretary or an assistant, she's just standing in the corner. And then she just walks up and she's about to interject something to her boss. She's about to say something. And then I forgot her name, Margaret, I think so. And the boss says, "Not now, Margaret." I don't think he even looks at her. He's kind of looking away. He goes, "Not now, Margaret." And so then she kind of backs away, all kind of defeated, all sad. She's just standing there. And Ken, he's imitating this. He's like, yeah, he's going to do this. And so already Ken is being infected by the toxic masculinity. The patriarchy's taken over. Yeah, and so Barbie meditates, and she I guess she realizes where the girl is, and so she finds the girl, and so she is talking to the girl, and she's telling her, "Hey, I'm Barbie, your favorite doll," and the girl and her friends are saying, "Well, we quit playing Barbies when we were 5, and plus, we hate you, Barbie, because you make girls feel ugly." Think about this. So, girls feel ugly, or I think she says something about girls don't have confidence because of you. So, imagine this, right? Basically, before, when earlier, in the 80s and 90s, when girls played with Barbie dolls, you'd assume that girls wanted to be like Barbie, right? They wanted to look like Barbie, right? And so, for example, let's just turn this around to the male section. So a lot of men, we're inspired to lift weights, go to the gym. And it's not just out of nowhere, right? It's not because we just all want to go to the gym, right? Some just naturally want to go. Others, we have to kind of emulate this stuff, right? And we realize it's good for us, right? And so we see Arnold Schwarzenegger, we see Sylvester Stallone, the guy who plays Thor, right? Basically we see these bodies and we're wow, I want to be like this guy, right? This guy, just solid, right? Attractive, and it's just natural, right? And so what do we do? So we either could actually go to the gym, or we could just not go to the gym and not ever look like those guys that we want to emulate, right? So so we can't just claim to be that guy, right? I can't claim to be strong as Arnold Schwarzenegger if I don't go to the gym. I can't claim to be athletic as Dolph Lundgren or Sylvester Stallone if I don't go to the gym, right? So I could say they're my heroes, but I cannot claim to try to emulate them. I cannot claim to be them, right? So I cannot claim to be Terminator. Why? Because I'm still not at that level like Arnold Schwarzenegger is. I have to keep going to the gym for that. I can't just sit around and do nothing, right? And here's the thing, right? Even if I don't go to the gym, right? Even if I don't try to train, right? At the same time, I also understand that Arnold Schwarzenegger, his looks, they don't intimidate me, right? When they don't intimidate me in a way where I don't feel not confident in myself, right? Because a lot of men who don't go to the gym, they still feel normal about themselves. They understand who they are, right? And they don't get angry at Arnold Schwarzenegger. They don't get angry at Sylvester Stallone. They don't get angry at Dolph Lundgren. They acknowledge that they're not as athletic as those men are, but at the same time, it does not bother them, right? Especially if they already have a girlfriend, they have a wife, right? They don't, a lot of them become just, they have dad bods, right? And they're okay with this. And I'm not saying that that's healthy or that's good, But at the same time, a lot of men, like, they don't have this fragile ego as feminists claim we do. In a way we do, but just for certain reasons. But when it comes to this, when it comes to like emulating other men, like we have the choice to actually emulate them and go to the gym, or we could just like like to look at these heroes, but at the same time just not go to the gym and just accept our fate. Like, we have this responsibility, like most men do, right? Like, we don't blame Arnold Schwarzenegger for looking good, right? And so in the movie, the girl is saying, "Oh, you're making girls feel ugly." Well, why don't you try to be like Barbie then? You know, like why are you angry at her? Why are you angry at Barbie for, trying to tell you you should try to look good, right? You know, like maybe if you wear some makeup, if you'd actually not eat so much, maybe eat more salads, right? Like you too might look like Barbie, okay? It's not like, I mean, you have to put some effort in. Like, I'm not going to say it's not that hard, but I will say you've got to put some effort into this, right? So, like, if we're not intimidated by, other good-looking men, right? So why should women be intimidated by other good-looking women? But, oh, you make us feel ugly. So yeah, then like the girl's name is Sam, and she's telling Barbie, "Oh, you're promoting sexual capitalism and all this weird nonsense." And and what's funny is that, like, I'm not even a capitalist, but I'm thinking, okay, this is ridiculous. Like wow, like Barbie just promoting like a regular, like, pretty woman. So it was supposed to kind of be a representation of a regular pretty woman. And Barbie is created by what's her name, Barbara Handler, right? And I saw images of Barbara Handler, and she's like, like she's definitely not a Barbie, right? But she created Barbie, and okay, and she says this is what Barbie should look like, okay, right? Like, this is what Barbie should look like, and like like basically originally girls try to imitate that, but now with this whole feminist BS being spread all over the internet, it's like girls should stop trying. Okay, so going back to Ken, he goes to for some reason he ends up being at the same school where Barbie is. I guess he's able to communicate telepathically or just sense Barbie's location. But anyways, he goes into the school library, and for some reason the school library has like basically books about men, like basically promoting patriarchy. And there's one book, I think it's called the world is ruled by men, for men, something like that. And so Ken is just like, oh wow, like a funny. So he's walking out like the whole stack of books about patriarchy, and then some random not even a mid, just like some overweights and some overweight woman without makeup walks up to Ken, and she says, "Oh, excuse me, do you have the time?" And Ken's first response to her is, "Oh, you respect me?" Like, so apparently in Barbie Land they have such a matriarchy where Ken's not really respected by the other Barbies. So I guess the Barbies will not say, they would not ask them the time, right? They would ask other Barbies what the time it is, and so it was just kind of weird. Like, by the way, I will use that line if a random woman would ask me what time it is, I'll probably just say, I would probably just ask her, "Oh, you respect me?" and see the reaction. I mean, it's kind of silly, just stupid, but like, you know what? Like, I'll just do it. I'll be like, "Oh, you respect me?" but anyway, so like Ken asked her if she respected him, and the woman's like, "Well, no, like I just ask you." Well, like she says, "Well, hey, I'm just asking you for the time," and Ken's just, wow, ooh, like he tells her, "Alas, I don't know," but then he just walks off, and like and then he's gone for a bit, and then Barbie's crying 'cause she's thinking, "Oh, I thought like women were like having a good time in the real world. I thought we're making a big difference for women. Oh, it turns out, women are not equal. It's so sad, right? Something's wrong. Oh, and then like the CEOs from not the CEO from Barbie, not Barbie, from Mattel. The CEOs of Mattel, they send their agents to grab Barbie because apparently the FBI somehow knew that Ken and Barbie escaped Barbie Land and they must go back to Barbie Land. And so Ken witnesses Barbie getting taken in by these men in black, and then Ken looks over to that mid-looking woman, not even mid, I don't know why I say she's mid, to this basically like unattractive looking woman. And so he's telling this unattractive woman, he asked her, he doesn't tell her, he asked her, so no, I think he tells her, no, he asked her, hey, so like, where should I build, like, where can I find a spot where I could build the patriarchy from scratch? She's just kind of, what? Just looking at this guy, what? Seriously, dudes, try this. Walk up to a random woman and straight up ask her, hey, can you show me the location where I could build the patriarchy from scratch? like see the reaction on her face. Like, you guys should do this in New England. Walk up to a woman in New England particularly. And the reason why I say New England is because all the libtards live in New England and California too. So the West Coast. But go to any liberal states and just like walk up to a random woman and say, and ask her, hey, do you know of a place where I could build the patriarchy from scratch? Yeah, yeah. Then he tells that woman, yeah, I can't believe Barbie did not tell me about the patriarchy before. And so, he walks away, and the woman tells her daughter, yeah, let's go this way. And what's interesting, it's always like in the movie, right? Whenever they show like any sort of parenting, it's usually women with daughters. By the way, if you look carefully at the movie, most of the children are basically girls, and it's mostly mothers and daughters. Like that's another thing. And like so basically boys are like non-existent. Like basically giving birth to boys is kind of like haram, I guess. It's forbidden. It's verboten. Das ist verboten. It's verboten to give birth to the sons. Too many sons. We must have more daughters. Horrible German accent. I know. So okay, yeah, and so then apparently the girl who is messing up Barbie is not really a girl. She's actually one of the secretaries that works for Mattel, and she finds out that like an actual live Barbie escaped Barbie Land, and apparently it's real. And then her daughter is Sam. Sam is the girl who told Barbie, "Oh yeah, you're a superficial capitalist, whatever." And like, oh, she called her like a fascist too, something like that. And so basically, Barbie realizes that the secretary woman is the woman who's been messing her up, right? So she assumed it was going to be a little girl, but it was an adult woman. And so she says, oh, I must take you to Barbie Land for some reason. I don't know why exactly, why she had to go to Barbie Land. But they end up going to Barbie Land. So Barbie, the secretary, and the daughter, Sam. And the secretary, the actress playing her is America Ferrera. And so, they mentioned her husband. So apparently, the secretary and her daughter, they have uh, like basically the secretary has a husband and obviously the father of her daughter Sam, and so the daughter actually says, "Hey, should we take dad with us, right?" And the mom says, "Oh no, I don't think we should take dad with us, right?" And then they do like a shot of the father sitting in the living room, and he's studying Spanish, right? And he's trying to pronounce like the words. And the daughter says, "Yeah, it's probably best that we leave dad behind," or something like that. It's kind of weird. Okay, so I don't get it. So like so I guess like it's better for dad to stay home and learn Spanish and not protect his daughter and his wife, because the three women, they're being chased by the CEO and by these executive men who are trying to kind of take Barbie back to Barbie Land, but Barbie's already going back to Barbie Land, so it's kind of weird. But apparently, what happened is that one of the reasons why the CEO is trying to get back to Barbie Land at the same time is because as he's trying to chase Barbie, right? Oh yeah, because he realized Barbie went back to Barbie Land anyway, right? But he also knows that his secretary and her daughter went there, but they're kind of like just stuck there. They're like, okay, well, now what do we do, right? And then they get a phone call because Ken, he basically turned Barbie Land into Kendom. So because Barbie goes back, she realizes, wait a minute, all the Kens are playing volleyball now, as if that's a bad thing, and all the Kens are being cheered by the women, woo! And the former female black president, she's now like serving beers, and she's all being all giggly. she basically being the same person, she's just not president. She like same character. She's the same character, but she's just not the president of Barbie Land, right? And she's saying, "Oh, this is so much better than being president." But she's giggly and bubbly when she was president, okay? Yeah, and all the other women are basically the same. They're practically the same. They're just no longer in the positions of power that they had on their matriarchy. But other than that, they're still the same. They're like basically dumb bimbos. Like dumb hot bimbos basically, and not counting the fat Barbie though. Yeah, gross. But Barbie realizes, wait a minute, there's male mermen basically, like saying, "Oh, hi Barbie," and she's kind of surprised to see that, and then then she realizes, oh no, something's changed, and Ken took over and he introduced the patriarchy. And think about this, right? You have all these women in power the entire time, and then one dude comes back and says, "By the way, guys, patriarchy, it's cool," and all the women just kind of give up their power. And what's interesting is that they actually have no governments. Like they kind of do, they kind of don't. So basically, the women are now subservient to the men. They're basically just attached to a Ken. They have like their own Ken that they are dating, and they're constantly cheering them on and constantly praising them, right? And so there's no woman running the government anywhere, right? And so the closest thing to any political power that exists is basically Ken, and he took over Barbie's dream house. So now he called it Kendom, and so he's going to call Barbie Land Kendom as well. And and apparently he's also going to call an election to like vote on their new government. It's like, why? And as much as I hate Ben Shapiro, as much as I dislike watching his shows, I was out of curiosity, I did watch his review on Barbie, and yeah, it just makes no sense. Like he had a good point. Yesterday when he talked about why can't because the Kens are a minority. Why would they vote? Why would they even allow votes? For their governments, because it's a risk. Because the women outnumber them, right? Like if you already took over, right? You already have power. You seize power. Why are you voting for new government, right? Like it just makes no sense, right? Or like, why are you voting to make sure that you guys can stay in power? Like, if the whole goal was for you to stay in power, why create like this 48-hour timeline for you to prepare a vote to see if you could stay in power? Like, it's just ridiculous. It made no sense at all, right? It was already becoming Kendom. It was already being called Kendom, right? And the Kens already won. They're controlling the women. Like they all had like these hot bimbo girlfriends, except the fat Barbie. Yeah, gross. Yeah, and so Barbie just kind of, she's angry at the female secretary, at the human female secretary played by Ferrera. America Ferrera, sorry, America Ferrera, not American Ferrera. Yeah, it's America Ferrera. And so Barbie's mad at her, telling her like, it's because of you, like basically, like, had you not made me depressed, had you not, like ruined me, I would not be in the real world, and like basically then come back, like then Ken would not go with me, then Ken would not bring back these ideas to the Barbie land, because like basically had Barbie not left Barbie land, right, Ken would not followed her to the real world, and Ken would not have known about the patriarchy. Now because of this woman kind of creating like her own version of Barbie, right, it kind of like that's where it all started, like this chain reaction, I guess. And so like Barbie just kind of like gives up. She just kind of goes right, like she just kind of passes out. And then for some reason strange Barbie shows up to pick up Barbie and take her to her house. So then and what's interesting is that strange Barbie is being left alone the entire time. Like, all the Kens know the existence of strange Barbie. Everybody knows the existence of strange Barbie. Strange Barbie, like, her existence is known. Yet for some reason, the Kens, they don't immediately take it over. Like Ken does not realize that he needs to kind of also take over strange Barbie's location. And because strange Barbie for some reason is the only one that was always kind of like awakened. Like she was never like this bimbo. She was just this weird butch kind of lesbian type of woman who was also the smart one and the wise one. And like, so she like basically like never fell for this BS, right? So it's kind of weird, right? Because like so in one way she supported the matriarchy, but then apparently like it was still not enough for her, right? But so when the Kens took over, for some reason the Kens did not think about taking over Strange Barbie as well. But Strange Barbie and her other associates, they take Barbie to her place and they try to they try to kind of show her how they're going to unbrainwash the other Barbies, because apparently all the Barbies have been brainwashed by Ken. Yeah, so anyways, but the humans, like the human females, the secretary and her daughter, they're driving the car and they're about to kind of leave Barbie Land, and they look back and they see the big sign. It just says Kendom, and they say, "Oh, we could still fix it, right?" So they go back to what do you call it? Strange Barbie, right? And like and they tell all the Barbies there, like basically they start talking about these weird feminist talking points, right? And so one of the Barbies that was trying to be deprogrammed all of a sudden is awake. She goes, "Oh wow, like I can't believe like I was brainwashed," right? So then like then they go to the former female president, and they kind of deprogram her, right? She goes, "Oh wow, like I'm awakened." They go to the fat Barbie, because the fat Barbie is actually a lawyer apparently, right? And like, so they kind of deprogram all the female Barbies, and so like basically so once all the female Barbies are deprogrammed, right? They pretend to still be brainwashed bimbos, and so like the final thing that they did, their final act, like their final move, is to kind of have all the Kens fight each other. And so the purpose of this is because Ken himself, by the way, like the leader of the government, has said there will be like an election, right? to legitimize their power, I guess, which is kind of dumb. It's like you already seized the power, right? You are the legitimate authority, right? But anyways, so all the Barbies, what they want to do, they want to distract all the Kens. All the Kens will be fighting each other in like the Civil War, while all the Barbies will go to the government building and just elect themselves into power. It's kind of weird. It's really weird because what happens is that like the Barbies the night before, what they do, like they all go to their individual Kens, and all the Kens are singing this love song to the Barbies, and the Barbies then they receive text messages from like other Kens, right? Well, it's not really them texting, but Ken realizes that Barbie's getting a text from like a rival Ken, and this rival Ken is like this Asian looking dude, and so he realized that she received a text from him. He's like, Ken, right? And then Barbie walks, like she leaves Ken, she goes over to Asian Ken, and she's like, oh, I really love your music, and the Asian Ken's like, oh yeah, like I like your eyes and everything, and so he's playing for her, but then like another Ken, his girlfriend leaves him, is hanging out with another Ken, and like vice versa, and so then like the Kens realize, like they're like the other Kens are flirting with our women and trying to kind of take our women away from us. So the Kens go to war with each other. So there's like two factions. There's like the blonde-haired Ken, Ryan Gosling, right? So like he's got his own faction of Kens, and then the Asian Ken, he's got his faction of Kens. And what's interesting is that neither side really wears a distinctive uniform. Like each Ken from both sides is dressed, individually in their own clothing, and so like the only yeah, it's just kind of dumb, right? So like it's kind of like a musical too. So it becomes this musical. They start singing, and so they're fighting each other. Like they're showing like the Kens are arriving on the beach on their boats, and then you have the other Kens defending the beachhead, and they don't have any actual like weapons. Like they don't have guns, so they're using golf clubs. They're using like bats, whatever. They're using the tennis rackets to fight each other. It's just so weird. So that like they're fighting each other. And of course it's showing men are these like fragile children, right? Basically like they cannot be reasoned with logically, right? Like they're just like animalistic, right? They just gotta fight each other, right? They gotta go to war with each other over a woman, and I think that's kind of a reference to Helen of Troy in a way. But yeah. Now I will agree that that music scene was not bad actually. That the fight scene was actually choreographed pretty well. Like it's basically supposed to be a silly fight scene. That's what it was supposed to be. And had it not been such a woke disaster, right? Like that, it would have been nice to kind of see that fight happen. And then it kind of cuts, like they cut out that fight, and they're all like on the stage, and like you have two sides, and like they're all wearing black anyway. But you have two sides kind of marching towards each other. Then they kind of do this dance off, right? This competitive dance off, and they kind of switch around, and like. It's pretty well choreographed, and Ryan Gosling did a great job, and that stuff would have been nice to include, in the movie. Had the movie been actually pretty good, like that was the only good part of the movie actually. Like I actually kind of enjoyed it. I'm thinking, oh wow, this is actually like a fun part of the movie. The rest of the movie was garbage. The rest of the movie is just feminist trash, and then then they show like this nice dance off, this nice musical event. And like the guys are fighting each other. Like I thought it was pretty fun. Like it was pretty cool thing. So what's going on here? So like they're fighting, and then after they do this dance off, right? They still grab hands. Both sides do. Ryan Gosling's faction and Asian Ken's faction, both factions, they just grab hands and they just end up being friends, right? And they're back in the beach again. They're back in their regular clothing again. Oh, and then one of the Kens tells Ryan Gosling, he tells him, "Oh, by the way, we're supposed to have the election today, right?" And Ryan Gosling's like, "Oh crap, I forgot about that." Right, and of course, immediately they showed like the pink White House, and all the Barbies are wearing pink clothing, right? And what's interesting, like I think it's kind of significant. I think it's kind of reminds you of the pink hats, right? But here they're wearing like all of them are wearing pink clothing, all of them, right? And so like the women, so while the guys were busy fighting each other, the women just elected themselves into power. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not how it works, right? Because here's the thing: if the men really wanted to, because here's the thing, with the Kendom existing, like the males stopped being bimbos. Like they stopped acting like bimbos. They started acting alpha. They started acting like they're in control, right? And what's interesting is that had the females really done that, like let's just say they actually did distract the men and they voted themselves into power. Like if the Kens really wanted to, they could just literally overthrow those women easily. They could literally just be like, okay, well, like we're physically stronger than you, right? We actually have actual weapons that we know how to use, right? Like we could literally overthrow you right now. Like literally, like that whole election thing made no sense. So the Kens were too busy fighting each other, and the women just simply elected themselves automatically into office. Like how do they do that? Like basically, in what positions, right? Oh, and so I guess so they have the presidency, and they have the president, and they have Supreme Court, and that's it, right? It's a weird system of government they have, and so the Kens are like, oh crap, yeah, and then like they just give up. The Kens basically just give up, right? Then of course Ken and Barbie, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie, they have this conversation with each other, and she explains to him, listen, like you don't need me, right, to be Ken, right? You are Ken. You should be, like, and I don't know if she says Ken enough, because I was watching the Russian translation, so I don't know if they actually used the word Kenough. Because I'm thinking, why is she constantly saying you are Ken, right? And I'm assuming maybe in the original she's saying Kenough, but the Russian translators, like, they're thinking, well, how do we translate Kenough, right? So they're probably just saying, oh, you are Ken. And so yeah, so she says you are Ken, and so she tells him that, he has to kind of be himself without her. Right? So, like, he doesn't need her. He can be himself. Like, he needs to figure out himself who he is, right? And she tells him, like, he's more than just, like, the beach, more than, like, all this other stuff, right? She's, like, giving him these words of encouragement that he needs to find himself and blah, 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 right? And so he just realizes, oh, yes, I'm Ken. But I'm still thinking in the original, he's probably saying, I'm Kenough, right? He goes down the slide. He's so happy. Oh, yes, right? Yeah, and then the CEO shows up. The CEO of Mattel shows up, and he's like, oh, yes, this is awesome. Yay, right? And then, like, he gives some little weird speech, and then Sam, oh, by the way, speaking of the government, so I'm assuming, so the two humans that were there, Sam and her mom, the secretary, right? So did they vote? Did they partake in the voting? Because how could they legally do that? Like, it's Barbie land, Like, so should it only just the dolls make those decisions? So like because they were there, right? Like, they were there, and I believe they like participated in the election, like. On what grounds, right? And so, oh, by the way, and all the office positions were taken, like every single position was taken, like because they all just decided, oh yeah, we all vote ourselves into power, like so they did not really show them like vote each other into power. They kind of just said, oh yes, we saved our constitution. Oh, and yeah, so then the CEO shows up and like says, "Oh yes, that's a great speech, Barbie. Yes." And then like then he says something, and then Sam, she says, "Well, what about Barbie's story? Like what about her story? How does her story end?" Oh, and before I get to that, the secretary then tells the CEO, who's her boss, she tells him, "Well, like, can you guys create a Barbie who's kind of like plain, who's both a who's not a mom but who's also a president, or who's a mom or who is a president, or she's a mom and who's not a president, or she's just but she's not a mom but she's still amazing, like it's just kind of weird. It's just so weird and stupid. It was literally dumb. Like, it just made no sense, right? And the CEO kind of goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, we'll definitely do all this stuff, right? And then Sam tells the CEO. She asks the CEO, what about Barbie? What's her story? How's her story end? And of course, the CEO says, well, Barbie, she loves Ken, and that's her story, right? And so of course she says, but I don't love Ken, right? And the CEO is thinking, oh, whoa, what do we do now? You don't love Ken, And I think it's kind of implying that, like, I don't know, I guess women are forced to marry men they don't love in this country. Are you serious? Like, yeah, just like total nonsense. But then going further, Barbara Handler shows up, not the real Barbara Handler, right? Because Barbara Handler died in 2002, so this other old lady is playing her, and she shows up magically to Barbie, and she tells her, "Oh, listen, come with me." Like you kind of because Barbie starts to question, like, what world do I belong in? Do I belong in the real world? Do I belong in the Barbie world? And I don't know why she's feeling this way. Like her entire point was to kind of go back to being a normal Barbie, so she could walk on her tippy toes again, so that she could experience, all the Barbie lifestyle every day. In the beginning of the movie, they mention every day is the best day ever. Every single day that she wakes up is the best day, right? And she has the same old routine. She like has her breakfast, has her drinks her milk, right? Everything is fine. Nothing's out of place ever. And that was her entire goal, is to simply just to go to the real world, find out who the culprit is behind making her feel bad, and then return to Barbie Land like it's normal, like everything's back to normal. And so they kind of did bring everything back to normal, if you want to consider matriarchy normal, apparently. But still, she, for some reason, says, well, I don't know which world I belong in now. Okay, before I go further, I did skip something. One of the Kens, he walks up to the black female president, and he asks her, oh, hey, President, is it... he doesn't say president, he says Barbie. He says, hey, Barbie, is it possible that that there will be like some Ken representatives in the Supreme Court? And you know what she says? She goes, no. Like, she sure says, like, no. But maybe something lower than that. Some like local, I forgot what it was, but some kind of like local office, right? And the Kens were like, yeah, like, so basically the Kens finally got some kind of male representation. So not in the Supreme Court, but on some other local office levels. And then the narrator says, like, eventually the Kens will someday get representation in the Supreme Court, and after that, someday the Kens will also get the same rights that the Barbies have, just like women have in the real world. It's just so weird. So, like, basically, they're at the same time praising matriarchy, but at the same time kind of acknowledging that the Kens, they kind of understand why the Kens might feel oppressed, right? But then they shouldn't because they're dudes. But it's just kind of weird, right? And so, the president says no, like okay, why? But what if the other Barbies vote on that, you know? And what's interesting is that the Barbies, you know, when things kind of go back to normal for them, the Barbies are also kind of more enlightened this time. Like they're more cognitive, I guess. Like they're kind of more like Strange Barbie now. Like they're kind of wise. Like they're no longer just because before in the very beginning, they're a combination of like these like giggity, you know, like these weird these are like bimbos who are constantly laughing, but they're in power. They're in power. They're in seats of government. But now they're not just these like bubbly, you know, joyful Barbie dolls. They're now like mature women in power, right? And the Kens, you know, they don't have their full rights to be in power yet. Like this, they still gotta be on a local level. They could have some power on a local level, but then eventually, someday, the Kens will then have the same exact rights as Barbies. You know, it's kind of trying to say, yeah, like, and the movie's implying that women today still don't have the same rights. So, anyways, going back to Barbie, like, so going past all that, Barbie's then realizing she's like realizing she doesn't know what she is. Like, I don't know which world I belong in. Then Barbara Handler shows up magically, and she tells her, "Come with me, child," right? And she explains to her, you know, like all the struggles, you know, about humanity, what it means to be human, what, blah blah blah. And then she, like, kind of tells her that it's not really pleasant to be human, but like then like she tells her like you gotta be tough, blah blah blah. I don't remember the exact wording, but and then like she Barbara Handler, the fake Barbara Handler, she tells Barbie, hey, like it would be highly irresponsible of me to kind of let you be a human without showing you what it is to be a human, right? And so you know what they do? So she kind of like kind of shows like Barbie like this visualization, this vision of what it means to be a human. And all it is simply different forms, different footage from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? It's like different footage from different decades showing like different women raising their daughters. So Barbara Handler is just saying, I'll show what it means to be human. And what it is simply footage of women from different decades raising their daughters, right? That's what it means to be human. Remember, humans are basically women. Women are humans. Men are not humans. Men are not humans according to this movie. Right? So anyways, so Barbie's getting this vision. And so then like they show Barbie in the car. Oh, before going any further, earlier in the beginning of the movie, Strange Barbie told Barbie she had to go to the real world. And so she and so she told her, you guys have to make a choice. Do you want to wear these high heels, or do you want to wear these flip flops, these like lesbian looking flip flops? And like if you wear these flip flops, you know the truth, right? And so and Barbie at first was like, oh, I want to wear the high heels, and Strange Barbie was not happy about that, right? Oh, by the way, before I go even further, because we're almost done here, but when after Ken asked the president about the jobs, you know, if men could get representation in the government, the president, Barbie, and all the other Barbies, they apologized to Strange Barbie for being mean to her. And so Strange Barbie is like, oh, it's okay, whatever, like, and then the president basically assigns her a government position. She tells her, so like, what do you want to do, right? And Strange Barbie says, well, I want to do some, like, I think she says sanitation services. It's so weird. Like I'm thinking really they're trying to say like women can do all this dirty work that men could do. I want to be in charge of sanitation services, all this stuff, public utilities, like stuff that like only men, women can do the same thing men can do, right? Yeah. So like, but anyways, enough with Strange Barbie. But so after Barbara Handler shows Barbie what it means to be a human, obviously simply just a mother raising female children. They show Los Angeles, and the narrator says, Barbie left the plastic world of Barbie Land as she entered the plastic world of Los Angeles. It's kind of dumb. Like I guess they're trying to imply like people in Los Angeles are fake, but I'm thinking like you people are making a movie. You're making a movie about yourselves. This is a movie about you guys, right? You're just kind of dumping on yourself like that. Okay, fine. Okay, like but anyways, so we're like near the end now, and Barbie's in the car with the secretary who's driving the car, while her husband is in the passenger seat, and Sam and Barbie are both in the back, and so they both wish Barbie a good day, and then the husband, like he's like this white guy who's learning Spanish, and he says something to her incorrectly, and then like the secretary she basically corrects him. She doesn't know, like you gotta say it like this, and so he says like this, and then like Sam says, you still kind of said it wrong or something, and like so the husband's a dumb white doofus who's like basically still needs to learn Spanish. Yeah, and by the way, we're near the end, and I have to say that like that America Ferrera, like the woman who basically freed all the women, right? She is basically pretty mid. She's mid. Like I would not say she's like really ugly, but she's definitely not attractive at all. It's like total mid, a total mediocre woman, basically frees all the Barbies, right? That's like another thing that's in the movie. It's like this mediocre looking women and her mediocre daughter. They freed like these beautiful women from the oppression of the Kens, the evil patriarchy. But anyways, so Barbie, she's being cheered on by them, and like she's getting out of the car, and so you're thinking, okay, so where's Barbie going, right? I'm thinking like Barbie's applying for a job interview, right? Or she's starting her job, whatever it is, and then they show as she's outside of the car, they show what she's wearing. And she's wearing those lesbian sandals that I mentioned earlier. Like she's wearing those lesbian sandals. They're mentioned earlier in the movie, and so she now knows the truth, right? And so she's walking into this building, and so like it might be some kind of medical place or like something, but there's other women waiting. They're sitting in chairs. And there's like a female secretary at the front desk, and so she's asking Barbie, "What's your name?" And of course, Barbie uses the name Barbara Handler because she's the daughter of Barbara Handler, the fake Barbara Handler, because the real Barbara Handler died in 2002. So, anyways, Barbie uses the name Barbara Handler, and so. The secretary at the front desk asks her, okay, so what's your appointment about? And Barbie says, like, I'm here to see the gynecologist for the first time, or something like that. Like, she says it like in a Barbie-esque way. She goes, I'm here to see the gynecologist. And it ends right there. It just cuts off and roll credits, right? And I'm thinking, really? Like, interesting. Like, so she now became a human so she now has a vagina. So think about this. So earlier in the movie, she's telling these construction workers, oh, I don't have a vagina. Ken doesn't have a penis, right? And we don't have any genitalia. And so basically she became a human at the very end of the movie. And so like it's this amazing event. She could now see the gynecologist. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, doesn't this offend the Transformers? Think about this. Like so according to Barbie, Barbie was never never really a woman. In order for her to be a woman, she needed a vagina. Let's think about this logically. In order for Barbie to be a woman, she needed a vagina, because why else would she go to the gynecologist, right? Like she was not a real woman. She was a woman in the sense that she was a doll. She was a doll, but she was not a human woman. She was not a human woman. She became a human woman when she got a vagina. If you're a transformer, if someone's a transformer out there, they should get offended by this. Like, what do you mean? So basically, her vagina defines her as a woman. Her vagina, her having a vagina, defines her as being a real human woman. Look, I'm telling you, some Transformers are definitely like they're going to notice that. They're going to notice that at the end of the movie, and they'll be like, "Wait a minute, something's off here." Because she was already a woman, right? So why does she need to have a vagina to be a human, right? Like in the beginning of the movie, they make fun of motherhood, basically. Like they're showing the girls destroy the baby dolls, and they're replacing the baby dolls with Barbie. And what's interesting, Barbie has no genitalia, so she cannot give birth. She cannot have children, so she could have her nice slim body. None of those pesky kids destroying her beautiful body. She's Barbie, and those kids just make her fat and ugly. But wait a minute, I thought being fat and ugly was okay. It's a good thing. You're still a Barbie either way, right? You're still beautiful. You're still beautiful, right? Like this movie is inconsistent. Like there's no consistency with this movie. It doesn't go anywhere. Like there's no true plot. So at the end of the day, Barbie just becomes a human for some reason, because she doesn't know why she feels like she's part of both worlds. Well, because what's interesting is that she could still be part of the human world if she wanted to, and just remain Barbie. Like there was actual no reason for her to kind of want to become a human being, and she could still identify as a woman, right? But yeah, so that's my review right there. I don't know what else. There's probably other stuff that I probably forgot about, and probably just, oh yeah, by the way, there in the middle of the movie where basically after she was being catcalled by the men on the beach, and Ken was kind of walking around looking at all the patriarchy stuff, she's on the bench trying to meditate and trying to find the girl who messed her up, and there's this old woman sitting next to her, right? And she asked, I forgot what she asked her. I think she asked her the time, I forgot what it was. But she asked her something, and the old woman says something. Oh, and then Barbie tells her, "You are very beautiful." And the woman kind of makes a serious face. She goes, "I know." And this woman's probably, I don't know, based on how she's sitting, and she's probably in her 80s, right? This 80-year-old woman, who, by the way, just frail, right? This frail old woman reading this book, and Barbie tells her, "You are beautiful," and she responds with, "I know." like in this like tone, like, yeah, I know it's obvious. Okay, why are you pointing this out? I know I'm beautiful. A woman who looks like that in her 80s, I'm assuming that's an 80 some woman, like she would not be saying, I know. She might use that tone, but she would probably say thank you. She'd be like, oh, thank you. Because like that woman comes from an era where people had manners. I know. No, she most likely would have said thank you. And so, yeah, like this whole movie just like made no sense. It was inconsistent all the time, and yeah, but yeah, and so regarding that old woman on the bench, 99.9% of women like that. If you ever see one, and you just tell her, "Hello, ma'am, I think you're beautiful." Like it'll be like, "Oh, thank you," and it could be like an aggressive, "Oh, thank you." Okay, thank you, right? Because some old people are just kind of just angry people anyway, right? But still, a thank you would still be there, right? Or they'll be like, "Oh, thank you," like, "Oh, ooh, thank you," like, "You made my day," right? But not this. I know. I know. Wow. Like even if that woman was a feminist, right? Even if that 80-year-old woman was a feminist, she still would have said thank you, especially when like a younger pretty woman tells her, "Oh, thank you," tells her you're beautiful. She would say thank you, even if that 80-year-old woman was a feminist, because she still comes from a time where, yeah, it's kind of normal to have manners, and like basically, even she would like the compliments. Yeah, so that's why I say 99.9% of women that age sitting on a bench, hearing anyone who's like younger than them telling them, "Oh, by the way, I think you're beautiful," they would say thank you. You would not hear this "I know" response. Okay, so yeah, so the movie ends with Barbie going to the gynecologist because she is now a real woman. Yes, so I'm just saying, like, some Transformers are going to pick up. They're going to pick up on this, and they'll realize that this movie is saying that, like, in order to be a real human woman, you need a vagina. because why does she need it? Why can't she just remain Barbie forever? Oh, also, I guess she wants to experience like human death. Oh, because in the beginning of the movie, she did say something about death experiences, and the reason why she had those experiences was because the secretary was screwing her up, right? It's not natural for dolls to think about death, and so for some reason, she just decided to have this human experience of what death is. So she became a human with a vagina, and it's like, okay, like, I don't know, like But did they have to show that at the end? Like, what was the point of her going to the gynecologist in the movie? Because I'm telling you, if I was a Transformer who was paying attention, I would have some questions. Like, wait a minute, wait a minute, like you don't have to have a vagina to be a real woman. You could still be a man with a vagina. Have you not heard of trans men? Yeah. Yeah, like okay, I'm done. I'm just getting tired. I'm gonna just enjoy the rest of this cherry soda with vodka. And you guys have a good night, good day, whatever time you guys are watching this.